This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another afternoon here on the channel. As you know what, this one a little bit more personal. This one a little bit more hard hitting. This one, well, this one's the one that you've probably been waiting for out of me for a while now. Simply put, the one why I am so in need of hockey, right? Just as you are, just as everybody else out there is. We need hockey and we need hockey bad. And there's, well, you know what, I have a lot invested in it, but so do you. That's kind of the deal here is, you know what, we started way back when Connor McDavid blew up his knee, right? Slid into the post, Mark Giordano took him out, all that. That ended, but began. Ended in a hard journey for us, like 18-19 was a tough year. But it began a journey in 1920 that was going to be transformative. It was going to be delivering exactly everything we had hoped for the previous two seasons, the 17-18 and the 18-19 year, right? The follow-up to 16-17. Yes, I'm talking playoffs once again. So, back at the end of that year, we talked extensively. Like I was raw. No matter what the Oilers do, they're going for the playoffs. Playoffs or bust this year, right? That was kind of the mantra. And there were some guys saying, well, you know what? It's all this if they don't do it. It's all this if they do it, and blah 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 blah. Well, there was a lot to be considered, and you know what? Unfortunately, right? And all of that. You take me back to May 10th, 2019. I don't think you could have told me then and made me believe it that as of May 10th, 2020, I wouldn't be allowed inside of Tim Hortons to get a coffee. Alright? That's the tough part. Actually, I should correct that. I don't drink Timmy's coffee. I drink their steep tea. I wouldn't be allowed inside Tim Hortons to grab a steep tea. So, right, tough. Absolutely unreal. I know there are several Tim Hortons out there in the province, out there in the country, out there in the world that are still open to walk-in traffic due to different circumstances. And you, hey, everybody in that situation who's still open to foot traffic no matter what business you're in, hats off to you. Hats off to absolutely everybody involved trying to get this back to normal for us as quickly as possible. Hats off to every essential worker, nurse, doctor, frontline staff, backline staff, anybody in the process, anywhere in between, and to those of you, my friends, that are staying home and just doing exactly what's asked of you to make sure this goes away quick. Hats off to you as well. But you couldn't have told me my NHL season would be taken away. You couldn't have told any of us that, right? 71 games in. The Oilers are 3 points out of first place in the Pacific Division. Got 11 games left. It's a lot of Pacific Division matchups. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of good time. You know what? We get to end the season April 4th in Calgary. Let's go. Like, all right, let's fight it out. Let's just gun up and go. Get up those young kids out of the minors for a couple of call-ups. Use them and bash things through to the playoffs. Well, that didn't happen. And unfortunately, the whole journey, right? Like, you think about it, right? My channel. The whole Oilers discussion here on Dolany TV. Like I said, all raw about playoffs all the way through the summer, all the way into the camp, and all the way into the start of the season. There was a dark time there about second week in November all the way through till December 31st when Kailer Yamamoto came up. A lot of Oilers fans were off the bandwagon. They were gone. Season crap it away again. Goodbye. We saw this story last year. I'm done. And you know what? It was dark times. I'm not gonna deny that. How many live streams did you see out of me? I just simply didn't feel like dealing with the naysayers. And I mean, yeah, sure, that's wrong of me to do for everybody who enjoyed the streams, but at the same time, keep it sane up here, right? And I think one thing we've all learned about this whole pandemic situation is that keeping it together up here is a lot more important than keeping it together, smiling face and all that. So that's the big part. So you know what? We had all that going for us, right? We got through December. Then January came and we did exactly what we needed to. Then February came and we did what we needed to. Then we got the trade deadline acquisitions. Then we got into March and we kept pacing and pacing. We were back in first place for a while, and like things that people expected couldn't be done in December, they were suddenly done, and here we were in a possession to buy at the trade deadline for the first time in 2 years. We bought at the trade deadline. We bought Andres Athanasiou, Mike Green, Tyler Ennis. We went out there and got guys we were linked to for a long time and made everything happen. And Tyson didn't even do videos on those two guys because, man, why would he? He's so stupid. But, right, the journey just continued. And then we were having a heck of a live stream. You know, Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers, it's always a good live stream here on Dolany TV. The journey, it was looking good, but this whole world outside our doors was starting to fall apart. Things were getting scary all across the world. And then, suddenly the boys on the panel came in midway through the game of that first period against the Jets, and said the NBA had shut down operations due to the coronavirus after a player tested positive. That was tough. That was tough. And then we finished out our game just like everybody else in pro sports did March 11th, and then all of a sudden, March 12th, sitting in the truck, driving around Calgary, lots of deliveries that day. Every second I had to check to see what had happened with the NHL. You just waited. You were pins and needles. And then it was done. Paused. That was the word they used. And then we've been doing this ever since. Just trying to come to terms and make sense of it. But what was an incredible journey that started with Connor McDavid banging into a goalpost, which if you're wondering why I'm using that whole situation to jumpstart all this, because simply put, you can watch the documentary on Sportsnet tonight if you haven't already, but right? Everything from there. A terrible ending to a terrible season that brought new hope to a new season. All the tumultuous terrain we overcame. Everything we battled through. Everything we've kind of journeyed through here together on Dolany TV and as Oilers fans in general. It's just, it all came together and it all came short. Let me tell you, when this all opens up again, when the playoffs come home, right? Obviously, if you read the Edmonton Journal's 9 things on the Edmonton Oilers this week, this is a big week in Oilers land, as if everything goes according to how it needs to have playoffs come back across the NHL and playoffs come to Edmonton in particular. The Health Administration of Alberta, you've got the government of Alberta, you've got experts in Alberta, and you've got the Edmonton Oilers organization in the NHL all trying to bid together and make sure that Edmonton can be a host city for playoffs for this whole season to wrap up. And I mean, this journey has been insane. Guys, there are people that have lost along this journey, right? You think about all the families that have lost people in continuing care homes, anyone that's lost family, anywhere else across the province, across the world due to this whole thing. When this whole playoffs gets going, it's going to be special. And I mean, I hope to have you along for the journey, but however you choose to enjoy the playoffs when it comes back, it's going to be dang special because, I mean, you look at the excitement last night, the absolute insanity that was that UFC card, and the insane nature of how special it was just to have some kind of live sports back. I mean, Twitter was a buzz, YouTube was a buzz. I was in a stream last night that had 1,800 people watching a guy give the tale of the tape at his desk with a timer on an iPad. And I mean, hats off, that's an elaborate setup, but just there is that need to get back to sports. Sports is our escape, right? Sports is escapism. That's, for a lot of us, we've discussed that several times on YouTube here on Dolany TV, how important sports is to just getting out of our regular lives, right? Like right now, I don't know about you, but I know every day I come home from work, I'm exhausted. I just sit down and I just, oh, what am I going to do tonight? That's the first question. And it's the same answer as always. Sit here, try and find Oilers news. If there's no Oilers news, jump in a PS4 party and get going on video games. That's it, right? And I mean, that's an escape. But I'd much rather be doing Oilers coverage, Oilers live streams, and Oilers playoffs, baby. I would much prefer my playoffs right now. So guys, hope you're doing well. That's really the theme, is just to kind of give you where I'm at, give you how important it is going to be to me, especially just to finish that journey, guys. We have been on an absolutely incredible journey, and it would mean nothing more to me than to be able to just finish that journey this whole season. Right, this whole, since Connor McDavid slid into a goalpost, has been a wild ride, and I want nothing more but to have some kind of ending. And no matter, even if the Oilers got bounced 4 straight in the first round, it's a storybook ending for us because we got to finish the season. I'm Tyson. This is All On TV, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.